Welcome everyone to Get Bricked. Today we've got a Marvel Lego set. We've got the Guardians of the Galaxy headquarters, set 76253. So let's get this one opened. Thank you for joining me today on Get Bricked. Today we've got a Marvel Lego set. This is set 76253, Guardians of the Galaxy headquarters. Now this set includes 67 pieces as well as 2 minifigures. Now this set looks great together, and of course you'll notice I did apply the stickers on this set because we did only get 2 stickers in this set, but they did add a lot of detail to it. Now included in this set we do of course get this nice entrance or a doorway with a nice light above it as well as the Guardian sign on the side of it. We also do get this additional wall on the side with a nice purple panel with a sticker on there, which does add a good amount of detail to the set. And we do also get this nice table build for the front of the building. Maybe you could use it as an interior and use it as an interior table as well. But we also do get the minifigures. We've got Star-Lord in his new uniform as well as adult Groot. So checking out the minifigures, we've got Star-Lord first. And I love the look of this one with the print that it has. It's got a nice print for the front and back of the torso as well as extending onto the front of the legs, but we don't get any additional printing on the back of the legs or on the sides or on the arms. I love the look of the new uniforms though that they have for the figures, and I like the symbol on the chest there where it's done up in the gold. It definitely looks like an old Ravager symbol, but it may be that the Guardians have started to incorporate that into their uniform design. And then we do get the red straps on the front and back of the torso, and then we get a bit of gray there for the belt and some of the additional straps as well, and even a little bit of gray at the bottom on the front of the foot. Now moving up to the head, we do of course get a light brown hair piece to go with the figure, and it looks like it's a little bit grown out, maybe a little bit more messy than some of his other hairstyles in the past. Now he does include 2 prints for the head. We've got one where he's got a bit of a smirk kind of going on, a smile there with a little bit of a raised eyebrow, and then of course he's got a little bit more of an angry, upset face with a slight bit of a frown peeking in on the one side there. Now he does come with a couple of accessories where he includes his 2 blasters, and I like the fact that we did get those in this set so we can actually have them accompanying him, and they definitely match the look of his weapons he uses in the movies, where it's got the longer top and a little bit shorter on the bottom, but I do like the look of it. It's just a shame that they're just in one solid color, but most weapons are. Now switching over, we've got the other minifigure in this set, which is Groot, and I like the look of this one where it has a nice print on the front and back of the torso as well extending onto the front of the legs, just like with Star-Lord, similar kind of printing idea, but no prints on the arms or on the sides or on the back of the legs, which is a small downside again, but I like the detailed print that we are getting in this one because it does have a lot of that bark texture to it, it looks like, where it's got a lot of different line work, a little bit of extra coloring in there with some of like the like kind of pale green and some of the vines that kind of grow off of them, and I like the look that that gives, and it kind of makes it look like he's actually built up of bark and tree pieces. So I do like the look that that gives, even though print on the back is really good as well and shows off a lot of that detail. Now moving up, he does have the shoulder pad piece here where it actually is meant to emulate the size that he's gained going from like the teenage Groot up to more of an adult kind of form where he's a bit more bulky and stocky. And I like the look of this one. There's no additional coloring on it, but it does have these spikes on the side meant to resemble like the edges of like the bark that's growing off of him. So it's not too bad. The look that 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 gives him. It definitely bulks him up a little bit. And moving up a little bit further, we do get a nice headpiece to go with Groot here, where it's got the customized look to match the look of Groot. And I like the fact that it has some additional coloring at the very top, matching the green that's shown on the front and back of the main body. And then we've got some extra line work just indicating the different seams from the bark, then the line work that goes into like the bark growing. So I like that look that this gives. Now there is no alternate print on the back of the head because it is a more customized piece. So that's interesting that they actually gave it more of a customized look instead of it being just a standard minifigure head with like a hat or something that attaches on top to give it the Groot look. So I like that we are getting that as its own separate custom piece for this figure. Now Groot himself does not come with any additional accessories. However, they did include a cup that sits on the table that came in this set. So you can have him hold that, and maybe he uses that for when he's drinking water. I gotta imagine that's what he's drinking because I don't think Groot really drinks anything else. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe he does consume like tree sap or something like that, or syrup of some kind. If anyone knows, leave that in the comments below. I'd be interested to find that out. And that brings us to the main build for this set, which is the entrance. And I like the look that this has, especially with the purple that's been incorporated into it, definitely giving it a bit of a different look to it. And I like the fact that we are getting different shades of gray that are used in this build, as well as different shapes, some with lines, some with more rounded pieces, and you get the angled pieces on the top as well. So I do like the look that that gives. They even gave a macaroni piece there in the corner to go with the sign and make it look like piping that's attached to the wall. And the sign on the side of the building does look really good. It's definitely in a bit of an alien language, so you can't quite make it out, but it basically says Guardians of the Galaxy headquarters apparently. But I like the look of the sign where it is connected there on the one side with the studs, and then it's just kind of loose floating on the other side, but it made it look like it's got a piston or something like that holding it in place. Now we do get the light above the entranceway where you can angle that up and down a little bit, but not much else you can really do with it. It's just nice to have that additional touch to the look of it. And then we do get this additional wall or panel on the side, and it did include a really good and really detailed print that's done up mainly in pinks and purples, and it looks more like a status kind of screen. I like the look that that gives to the set. And then they've included a couple additional accessory pieces, probably just to help detail the set, where we've got what appears to be a large wrench and a shovel. Now the back of the set's not too interesting, just kind of plain a little bit, but it does still retain the color and the different textures of the front of the building. So it doesn't look too bad overall there. Now included in this set, as I mentioned before, and as you saw, there is a small table that's included in this set. And it's got an interesting design to it where it has studs along 3 of the edges, but not on the one edge. And then it's got a more rounded kind of base where they've used that piece that I've seen before used for like life preservers or satellite dishes and things like that. So I like that we actually got one of those pieces in this to just change up the look of the table. But the table itself doesn't really do anything. It doesn't really move or anything like that. Now included on the table, it does have the cup that I mentioned and showed before. And then we've got a couple additional accessories where there's an axe and what appears to be a hammer or possibly a chisel. But overall, it's not bad that we are getting some additional accessories, even if they're not really themed for each of the individual characters. Just some additional play features for the set overall. So now that we've taken a look at the pieces individually, I think overall the set looks really good, especially when you do have the minifigures with it. And the fact that they included some additional accessory pieces so you can kind of have the figures mess around with those and kind of be able to display them a little bit differently is really nice. Now, even though it is a sticker, and of course I'd much rather get a printed piece, I am happy that we did get the new Guardians of the Galaxy logo for the headquarters as its own additional kind of piece with the sticker on it. So I'm happy that we get that one and get to add that one to our collection, even if it is a sticker that we have to apply to it. And overall, this set isn't too bad for the price. It is a little bit of a cheaper set, being a bit smaller, less than 100 pieces, so it's not a large set by any means, but a nice little play set with some additional accessories that you can kind of mess around with. Now, if I had to point to any downsides for this set, I do have 2 small minor points. Personally, I would have loved to have seen this set maybe be a little bit more expensive, maybe a few extra pieces to include the rest of the Guardians. I know adding additional minifigures does increase the price quite a bit, but it would have been nice to get them all as a full set, especially with the headquarters. And the other small downside, which is more of a suggestion really for how to add additional play value with this set, is it would have been nice if they would have done not only the exterior, but included the interior as well. We have that wall on the side of it that actually is on a piece that can open and close a little bit so you can move the wall. And it would have been nice if they would have maybe just extended that so it could bend a little bit more and make it so you could have an interior as well. That would have added so much more play value, because then not only would you have had the exterior with the sign, but you could have had some nice detailed interior as well to play with. Now, let me know your thoughts on this headquarters set for Guardians of the Galaxy in the comments below, and any other changes or any other sets we should be on the lookout for. And make sure to like and subscribe and get that bell on to be notified about our next video. Now, before you end up joining the Guardians of the Galaxy, just be sure to tell everyone that you just got bricked.